Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good lord, it's another pubcast. What the hell? What? Hang on, son. What is that? What did you just do? Did you do the thing with the finger? Ain't that like a? You had the finger out there. That's a specific way of doing that. Is
That?
Yeah.
No, I never meant that for that to happen. I meant for that. Fuck you, mate.
Because I've always just gone for the full on. By the way, if you're actually listening to this and not watching it, then that's going to make no sense to you. But we're essentially swearing at you through the screen with the old middle finger. So I apologise for that. I've also just realised, but I didn't update the overlay with the Twitter handles, so it's still the really cheap solution that I made last time, whereby it's just white text just at the bottom.
That's fine.
But it's fine. You can read it, and you all know it anyway. It's fine. It's not a problem. It's all good. So this is the Unilost Pubcast, which is the sister show, kind of, to Hotfix, where we talk about games and stuff and what we have done during the week.
What we have fucking done.
What we have fucking done. Now, of course, we got to do the business first. Like Hotfix, if you like this, then you can support it via Patreon, via Hotfix Patreon, which you can find up there. It's up there. You can click the thingy, the little information thingy, and it's also down there as well in the description. And is it Asda? Was it Tesco? Says every little helps. Which one is it? I think it's
Asda.
Is it Asda?
Asda, yeah.
Because I thought they had its Asda price, where they pat themselves on the arse.
I thought the patting on the arse was every little helps. Maybe it is Tesco. I don't even know, bloke. I don't go to these places. Ladies and gentlemen, online shopping is the way forward. You go into these places, you're asking for trouble. However, if you do go into certain shops at certain times, there are certain deals which can be had. And don't ever frown at somebody who buys all of the bread and freezes it, because that's a clever person who buys 9p fabulous Baker Boy onion and something bagels, which actually retail for about £2.89, but in fact pays 9p for them, buys 5 of them, so in fact that's 25 bagels, and then freezes them. That is the mark of a...
That's the mark of an intelligent person.
Of a shopper of worth.
That's a lad who knows what he's about. Also, if you see a chap, for instance, loitering around the reduced section in Tesco, say, again, don't turn your nose up, because you can get 4 pieces of salmon for £1, as we found the other day. So we had 2 on the day, and we froze the other 2 because they were supposed to be eaten the next day. It's crazy.
There's a major problem with people who are like, oh, it's out of date, so says the packet on the 12th, so therefore it is the 12th, throw it away. It's like, mate, no.
It's terrible. It's like, and especially
things is a thing that has worked for millennia in terms of, keeping food edible.
And also, if you go to like supermarkets and you go to the bit where it's like reduced to clear, where it's stuff that's about to go out of date, you look on the date. I've had stuff out of there that's got like a week left on it, and it's half price from what it is, and it's like, who's looking at that and going, oh, we can't sell this now? People have only got 7 days to eat it. It's food. Mad. You're going to eat it in 7 days anyway. What are you talking about? God's sake.
It's mad. I mean, maybe salad. Salad, I'd avoid that, because that's obviously going to go over.
Yeah, that goes a bit brown. But
anything else, chat, viewers, stream, fuck 1-0 to me.
1-0. You know what? Yesterday's hotfix, you miscounted as well. There was 2 chats in yesterday's hotfix. No. I found the other one whilst I was getting the timestamps. So it was 2-1 to me, because it's lowest score. It's golf scores, not football scores. Golf is the one where it's lower, right? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't like golf. It's garbage. Anyway, games, Mr. Kirif, what have you played? Give it me.
Well, this week I have largely been playing Heroes of the Storm again, but I
haven't played it that much this week. I played a bit of it. I'm too good at the game.
Well, I've been trying different heroes out. I bought a Nubarak because I had the gold for him. I thought I'd give him a try, because he's a pain in the arse whenever we play him. Bit squishy early on, but he's really good at disrupting teams, because he's got 2 stuns.
He can dive in and dive out as well, which is bullshit.
He's quite tanky towards the end as well. I've really enjoyed playing with him, but unfortunately both games I played him in, on the first time I lost.
Defeats, Mr.
And then
it's fine.
2 defeats.
It's fine.
then I got annoyed.
Did you rage on the team?
I did not. No.
Like, I'm going to find you and kill you.
Allied chat off, always off. No allied chat.
Them on Battle.net and say, I'm coming for you. I know where you live.
No, but someone did add me on Battle.net after the second game, and they just went, sorry for team, and then just deleted me again. I was like, okay, cheers, thanks for that. And then I switched out again to Joanna, who I swear to God is the tankiest thing in that game. I think there's probably someone better than her, but if there is, I haven't come across them.
I think that Chen guy is pretty tanky, because he can just stand there and swig his barrel, but he's not doing anything. He's just swigging his barrel.
His goddamn barrel, right? I hate that hero. When he gets in the barrel and rolls around, as far as I know, that's not the best one to use. Like, from what I've read, it's not the best ult. But he can upgrade it to the point where he stays in it for like longer, and he goes at like 100 miles an hour, and it makes it impossible to do anything because he just bounces off the entire team. You end up spread out, and the second game that I lost with Anubarak was because the Chen on the other team was just getting into the middle of every team fight, going into the barrel, and just knocking everyone away. So our DPS would get like,
it's like ETC as well, ain't it? Where if ETC just runs in and cracks his ulti and just gets the DPS, that's it. You've lost the team fight, and it's like abilities like that are a bit like they are top tier abilities, I'm afraid. Like Johanna can't really do anything. Well, she can with a shield, can't she? She can chuck a shield and
she's got that stun, but it's not. I don't think it doesn't seem to have as big an impact as like ETC.
You can't really stop ETC once he's in it, unless you stun him, I guess. But somebody'd have to do that if they're not stunned already.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel with Johanna, she's you can ignore her a little bit. She's good in lanes. I've noticed she's good in lanes because you can chase people down and pull them in, and then you can just murder them. And if you're any kind of DPS, that's great for pulling them back in. You can just blow them away. But I don't know. I think she's still pretty good. I mean, I've been watching. I watch Grubby, the old Warcraft 3 pro gamer. He used to be a StarCraft pro gamer, but never really got too good at that. I watched him stream a bit of Heroes. He's like the highest skill stream, I guess, at this moment in time. Well, he just plays a lot of Sergeant Hammer. He plays Johanna as well.
Yeah.
But I like it because it's Sergeant Hammer, and I think that's probably my favourite one. Because Sergeant Hammer's not easy to play, and it ain't. Like, all you've got to do with Sergeant Hammer is get used to deploying the siege mode, because if you deploy it at the wrong place, you're out of range, and then you do nothing in the fight, and you have to go forward. But if you go forward and you get attacked, you get destroyed really quick. So you have to, like, save up your abilities and be ready with your rocket boost as well to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed after the first two games as Nubrak, I did okay. It was just we lost.
He's horrible for jumping on the siege.
Yeah. We had a siege Sergeant Hammer on the second game, and I kind of felt bad after a while because it was like it's too easy to just get in.
Illidan's like that
something.
As well. Yeah, Illidan will just jump straight on you, and it's like, holy shit. You can stop them. It means all you've got to do is you have to have your W ready, which pushes them back, and your mines ready. And when you see them coming for you, you have to deploy your mines, because that'll like interrupt them if you've took that talent, and because one of your mines will stun. But then you have to blow them away and immediately get rid of siege mode and press Z and just leg it, because you can't stay there because they'll kill you.
Yeah.
Unless your team protects you, which I don't know. I think that just depends on playing with better players. At the level I'm at, you don't get that really. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you might get a Tassadar shield or something like that on you, but very rarely.
You can still see it. You can still tell who's like an inexperienced Sergeant Hammer though, because in the third game that I didn't do Anubarak for the third game I did that day. I did ETC instead, because I do like ETC. He's fun to play, and he's also like, he's just so disruptive. I don't know what it is about that champion, but like if I run in with like Joanna into a team fight, quite often I feel like I can disrupt, and I can sort of slow people and stuff, and you're kind of in the way, but you're mostly blocking. I don't know what it is about ETC, but I feel like people kind of scatter a bit more, and I don't just mean because when he uses W, he knocks everyone around, but he just seems to have a kind of a presence in team fights that Joanna doesn't have.
Well, you don't want to be near him because he's going to stun you with his ulti. That'd be the problem. Yeah, the thing, Joanna, like in a team fight, when the teams come together, she's all right if she's in the front and she can block people getting towards you. But if she can't do that, then all she's doing is pulling people towards them. And if she's got a shield ulti, which she'll probably always have, because that's probably the most effective one, isn't it, for team fights and stuff. When she chucks that stuns and slows, doesn't it, or something? Yeah,
it stuns for 3 seconds, I want to say, and it bounces up to 2 times.
So she can run into like somebody like Illidan and chuck that in his face, and then he's not going to cause any problems. So you could blow him up dead quick. But I don't know, like the game is like I enjoy the game, and my relationship with that game is very much like I play it every now and again, and I think I always will play it every now and again. I think I'm getting fairly close to level 30 where I can play ranked, which may suddenly make me not want to play the game. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, it's like it's okay. Like it's okay. I'm fine with that game. I don't hate it, and I don't think it's the greatest game ever. But I think it's if I had a MOBA itch, that is scratching it for me.
Yeah.
Is it an itch I had? I don't know.
I'm kind of getting drawn into it more because I did play LoL for a long time, and I did really enjoy LoL. There's something about. I think the thing I most like about here is it's the two things of there's different objectives and different maps, which I really like.
Apart from when you get the mines, which is the worst map in the game.
Yeah, I hate the mines so much. But like it's kind of at the moment at least, not doing ranked. It's like I go in, and I'm not sure what I'm going to get, and as long as I don't get the mines, I'm like, okay, cool. And it kind of brings that variety that you don't really get from League of Legends. And I think also just the speed of the games.
Oh, look at this! I got an email. Slytherin, Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon's on iPad now.
Ooh, interesting. But I'm not sure.
Always been on iPad. Well, no, that is kind of good because it is a game.
Oh no, I
if
just
had
mean
a job
that
where I went on a train somewhere, I would play it. But
yeah, that's the thing. I get a feeling I would end up just watching. I'll just end up playing that game endlessly on the iPad if I'm not careful.
Anyway, apologies for that.
And so it's the map variety and the way you've got different objectives and stuff. I really like that, and just the length of the games. Like we've said before, the most crucial thing about LoL, for instance, is like being stuck there at like knowing that you screwed at like 15 to 20 minutes in and not being able to surrender and being stuck there for another 40. The 2 losses I had with Anubarak, the first one was an incredibly close game, so it was like it went on for about 25 minutes, but that's still only 25 minutes. Like that's not a long time. The second one was not a close game. We got absolutely stomped on. And that was about, I want to say about 15 minutes. It was the one with the temples.
When there's like a 3-level difference, that's it. It's game over because you can't beat them at all. Like 1v1, you're dead. Even like 1v2, you're probably dead because they're quite powerful. But I mean, like we said before with heroes, when you can go behind to a degree, and still come back. But I think once it's like 3 levels, you're fucked. Basically, it's very hard to come back.
Yeah.
Well, I played quite a bit actually of Armored Warfare this week. Now I've played so my relationship with let's talk about World of Tanks, right? World of Tanks, I never really sat down and bothered to learn anything about the game. I was just like, lol, it's tanks. I'm driving around. I sort of knew how camouflage worked in the bushes, and that was it. I just drove around and shot at people. Haha, I've got a Panzer tank, and that was it. I know it sounds stupid, but that was it. Like, I didn't even care about where I shot enemy tanks. Okay, I tried to not shoot them in the front armor, but that was about it. And it was like, well, yeah, it was a stupid relationship. But for whatever reason, Armored Warfare, I've actually been taking the time to sort of learn the game, which, lo and behold, actually makes you better at the fucking game. Would you believe, Mr. Kirill?
I've heard it happens.
Yeah, well, I've nearly got the T-64 unlocked, which is the tank after the T-62. Now, the T-62 is a Russian main battle tank. Which was notoriously a horrendously shit tank. But as I did say in the video that I put out from the E3 stream that me and you did, it was deployed in Afghanistan because I know about a history, ladies and gentlemen. That is one thing I do know about, especially like after World War II and onwards. So yeah, I knew that, but I also knew it was a shit tank. But I was, I've been getting into the game, and I find myself getting really annoyed. Like last night when I wanted to play it, when the servers were down, because it's obviously in like I don't even know what it's like. Is it early access? It must be because you can buy access to the game, but they're like test phases. They're not like it's only open for a few hours and then it shuts down. Although at the weekend, I think from 5 p.m. GMT to 4 p.m. GMT tonight, it's open all weekend like it was last weekend, which is good because it means you can play it quite a bit. And I'll probably stream it quite a bit as well. But I'm finding myself getting annoyed when I can't get onto the game, and I think that's a good sign for the game. I want to get on the game. But like, really, it isn't that much different from World of Tanks. But when I've spoke to people and they go into detail on World of Tanks for me, they say the difference with this game is it fixes loads of problems that World of Tanks has got and still has got. Like recently, they were going crazy about the sound. The sound effects in World of Tanks are terrible. They're like ancient sound effects from whenever World of Tanks came out, probably even before that because they're really shit quality. But World of Tanks have got an Xbox One version coming out, and that's got new sound, but they're not putting that in the PC version. Why?
Stuff like that really gets on my nerves.
But it's not Advanced Warfare, that's Call of Duty. Armored Warfare is abbreviated to AW. The sound is great. When you fire the cannons off, they feel quality. The models of the tanks look good. It's faster. I just think, I don't know, I just think it is a better World of Tanks game, and I prefer modern tanks, because the only historical tanks I really like I said before, are bloody Panzer tanks, Tiger tanks, some extent Churchills, maybe the Sherman, but yeah, that's it. But modern tanks, I can get into them because I'm like, oh, it's modern, and it changes up the game quite a bit. I mean, I unlocked the AMX something or other. It's a French tank. That's why I don't know the name of it. This is a recon, like infantry fighting vehicle, and it's really fast, and it's got quite a good cannon on it. I think it's got like a 25mm cannon or something on the front. And I had a good game in that. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And I like the fact that even when you're playing a less powerful vehicle and not a main battle tank, because you would think, shit, everyone wants a main battle tank, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, because not that many people are playing it, it put me in a game with tier 7 tanks. That's the highest available. So there was Challenger 2s and fucking Abrams main battle tanks against me in like, I was in the T62 at the time and I was like, holy God. Like, and I did get ruined. Like, I got shot by an Abrams and I was just dead. I was like, well, fuck me. But I should be, because I'm a tier 3 tank against tier 7. But it was good to see them actually, like, see that. And the matchmaking was kind of broke, but the teams were sort of like, it wasn't just loads of main battle tanks and that's it.
Yeah.
You need the scouts. You need them because they can designate fire and they can work out what's going on. I mean, if any of you guys have seen the LAV 150 video I made, that shows you what these vehicles are like. They're really quick and you just keep driving. It's a different type of game, but it's not like a shit game. Like in World of Tanks, I always felt like if I had a small light tank, I was shit and I was going to get battered. I always felt if my tank didn't have any upgrades to it, I was shit and I was going to get destroyed, right? But in this, I don't feel like that. I still feel like I can contribute. And I know I'm playing with people who are not shit at these games. Because anybody buying into this are probably World of Tanks veterans. Every game I've been in, there's always talk about World of Tanks. It's like, oh, well, World of Tanks does this. Or there was a guy saying, I really like this game, but I've played World of Tanks for about 5 years. I don't think I can just give it up for this. In all this chat. So, it's kind of like when you get a new MMO, isn't it? I remember playing WildStar and stuff like that. Everybody talks about WoW, don't they? It's just how it is.
When I made that video about sort of armoured warfare kind of versus World of Tanks, as it were, one of the things that I kind of said was that actually I think if any game that is similar to World of Tanks could get people to shift over, it would be something like armoured warfare, because it's still the same base gameplay, but they've fixed lots of little issues that World of Tanks has got. But it's the setting that's changed. And I think that's always the most important thing. It's like, if you can provide an experience that's familiar so that people know what they're doing and feel that they don't have to learn the game all over again, but put it in a setting whereby you've got different things, like new things, like putting it in a modern setting instead of just the same era as World of Tanks, I think it works, because it's like, you wouldn't stop playing one game to go and play an identical game, but you would stop playing a game to go and play something that's a bit different, wouldn't you?
Well, I never played War Thunder's tank thing. Well, I played it for a little bit, but not much at all. It's better than World of Tanks in one sense, because the models are like much better. The graphics are better. The way the things work is slightly better, but it's got a realism mode, and this is what killed it for me. I never played the realism mode, but I used to watch Side Strafe videos on this, and it's realistic, so the tanks don't have health, right? In Armoured Warfare, it's an arcade game. You get shot, your tank's got like 1,000 hit points. Oh, it takes damage. Yeah. That's not how a tank works. If a tank gets penetrated, that is fucking bad. The crew's probably dead, or there's some sort of horrendous badness has gone on. It's fucked. Your track gets shot off in a battle zone. You're not fixing it. You're just sitting there until the battle's over, unless you're going to get out and fucking start going, which I don't think you are, because you're in a fucking battle zone. But they had a realism mode, and it looked pretty good, but until you realise that if you turn your graphics down to low, you have a massive advantage over everybody else, because it doesn't load in any of the foliage or anything, and the tree numbers decline, and you can just see like people who would be hiding are now not hiding, and it's like, wow, and you can just shoot them. So that kind of takes out of them. But like a realism type of tank combat game, or a realistic one, I think would be quite good, because we've got like realistic FPS games, haven't we? Like Armour and whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine a tank one. That'd be pretty fucking good. A modern one as well.
You just have to find ways of fixing things like, low foliage density being an advantage for some people. Or just or just make it so that essentially if you play realism mode, you've got to have this setting.
Yeah.
Tough shit. It's like, if you want to try and turn it down.
Something like that with Armoured Warfare. It'd be interesting to see if they did.
Yeah.
Because I'd like something like that. Because the way I've been approaching this game has been very different to the games I've approached in the past. Like, I see myself at like maybe a transitional phase in my gaming career where I'm 28 now. I would not have played this game when I was 25. I don't think I would have. I just would have been like, no, this is too slow. Even though it's fast, I'd be like, it's too slow. Like, but now I can sort of appreciate the strategy involved with just sort of peeking around a corner, sort of changing my position, not being like, oh, there's a guy, right, we're going to have a fight with this guy. No, maybe let's change the rules and go around somewhere else. Being a bit more tactical instead of just like wanting action for the sake of it and dying really quick. Because in World of Tanks, most of the time I used to die pretty quick. I used to go into a fight and I'd be in a stupid place just because I wanted to fight the enemy. I wasn't playing it logically, I suppose. And I've sort of changed with that. I mean, things like naval action as well, games like that, I find myself playing more of them. I don't know, that type of like more mature game, which I know isn't fair, because people who are younger will still play these games. But don't think I've done a very good job of explaining that, but yeah.
Well, it's very easy when you're playing something to just be like, it's a game, lol, and dive in, and like that's certainly the way that I used to play games a lot, and I think in a way I think one of the reasons I'm kind of enjoying, I want to say Advanced Warfare as well, but the reason I'm kind of enjoying that more than World of Tanks, I think it's just that I'm a bit more mature than I was when I played World of Tanks. I think a lot of that is down to that as well, because I'd kind of get impatient with World of Tanks, and I'd be like, I've got this tank. I want to go and kill a tank. Like I want to shoot this guy, and I'd stay out for too long, and I wouldn't, utilize cover properly. Playing Armored Warfare, I don't tend to do that. Like I'm not just diving in like an idiot, even though I've got a light tank at the moment. I'm not just going, oh well, fuck it, it doesn't matter, and driving in. Well, I'm actually attempting to do things that I should, like spot, instead of just driving like an idiot.
I played a couple of games with you, and I thought I was expecting you to just be like, oh fuck this, I've got a shit tank. Everyone's got, oh look, Star's got a main battle tank. I'm just going to drive off and die. That's what I expected, but I was quite shocked to see that wasn't happening. I was like, maybe that's a testament to the game's design as well. Because like I said, you have got things to do as a scout. I mean, without you scouting tank, in that game I put on the channel, without you scouting the vehicles around me, I could not kill them. So, I mean, if a tank rolls up behind me, that's bad for me. It's going to shoot me in the fucking arse, and I'm going to be, dead or severely damaged. But with me seeing them on the map and trying to position, maybe even you baiting shots out of them because you can move really quick. Because if they're traversing the turret and trying to fire at you, their accuracy is less.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's a good game. Oh, Lord. No, I'm going again, bloke.
Oh, yeah,
I've been playing iPad games. This is the most disgusting thing ever.
I
played a few. I've played Storage Wars UK. Oh, my God. Have you ever seen Storage Wars? You must have seen it.
I have seen Storage Wars, yeah.
Where it's like the most stage bag of shit ever, and they open
it's terrible.
With the storage. It's dead funny. We're gonna have to make a video on this at some point. They open the door, right, and then it's like they get like 10 seconds to look in to see what's what, and then they bid, don't they? That's the TV show. Typical Discovery Channel shit. They should be making history programs, but instead they're making fucking. It might be National Geographic. It's on. It's like a channel it shouldn't even be on.
Yeah.
But I think it might even be history. I don't know, bloke. It's dire. But there's a game because apparently there's a UK version of this that I did not know, right? Which features the American bald auctioneer guy. He's like,
oh yeah. I know who you're on about. He was on. What was it? There's a show that Alan Davis does, where he gets like a load of comedians just sitting around a table talking, and they don't like promote anything.
Oh yeah,
they just have a chat. It's actually I really enjoy it. It's a really good show, but they had that guy, the one who does Storage Wars, on it for some reason, and he was sat there.
He's not a comedian.
No, and I was just like. He was talking. He's like, "Yeah, so before Storage Wars, I like lived in a trailer with like my girlfriend, and we just went round America, and we didn't have a fixed address, and we were like just living out this trailer, and then
we just doing storage auctions,
and then we just fell into it, and I'm like, what, what the hell? And all of this stuff was like, yeah, it was this one time on Storage Wars, and I'm just thinking, it's not real, mate. It's not an actual thing. It's all staged. It's like.
It's stupid, but the app, right, is quite good. It's one of the top-selling apps. Like, the reason I know about this is because I don't ever play games on my iPad or anything like that. I went through a phase, when I got it about a year and a half ago, where I messed about a little bit, but then I didn't really care. Like, because I just predominantly use it for Twitter, email, shit like that, boring stuff, websites. But I seen somebody playing it, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And they're like, oh, it's Storage Wars. I'm like, "Oh no!" And I'm watching it, and it's so stupid. It's just like, it's a typical like idiotic mobile game. You have to pay to get it, right? It's like £1.50. Yeah. So you pay access. It's fine, bloke. It's fine. Whatever. £1.50 is kind of monster these days. And then it's just stupid. And then it's just fucking stupid. You get to look quickly in a container, like it opens up, and you got the auctioneer guy's like, oh, no, next container, what have we got in the container? And it's like, who's in? And you're like, yeah, I'm in. And you have to try and bid. But one thing you've got to look for, as I've been told, is a crazy African mask. If you see that, it's worth loads of money. Because then what you do is you win. If you win the unit with the money you've got, you then have to sell it and see what profit you make. And then you just buy another unit. But the guy's so funny. He's like, put it on shoulder the back. All in fair warned. I don't even know what that means. All in fair warned. All in fair warned. I'm like, yeah, and I win. It's just totally stupid, but I don't know why I like it. It's not even a game, really. You're just spamming the buttons. Anyway, there was another game I played, which I haven't made a video on just yet. Well, I have. If you watch this video, because it comes out next day. But maybe I haven't. Maybe I got lazy. I don't even know. blame it on technical problems. Is Fallout Shelter. Now,
Yeah.
people were saying this. I didn't realize this was an iOS game at first. I just thought it was some browser game, and I just totally let it go over my head. But I messed around on it, and it's not bad, right? It's the top selling. Well, it's free to play, but it's got microtransactions in it. It's the top downloaded game on the iStore, which is massive, right? If you're in top position, you're making millions off the game because you've got a massive installed user base there, and they will be buying the microtransactions and stuff. So what is it? Well, it's basically a base building game. There's a ton of these out on iOS, like these little micromanagement style games, but they're kind of basic. They're not that difficult to play. It's Fallout, and it's very Fallout-y. So if you understand Fallout, you'll be straight into the game. All the sound effects and everything. It's actually a well-made game as well. Like, it doesn't look shit. It looks pretty good. What are you looking at, bloke? That's putting me off.
I keep getting calls, and I can't get them to stop because my phone's locked up. So I'm just going to give up and go away. It's on silent, but it just keeps flashing at me because I've got the stupid. Oh, there we go. The thing on the back there, the flash.
Oh
that goes off when I get a call or a text because the little light on the front is pissy and weak on this phone. But it just meant that it was sat there flashing at me. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I do apologise. Carry on.
It's okay. So it's not a bad game, but it does have the typical mobile spiel in it. So what you would do is you've got 3 resources. You've got food, you've got power, and you've got water. Okay, and at the start of the game, when you make a vault, you get like 10 people or so. It might not be 10, it might be less, I'm not sure. Turn up to the vault, yeah, and you can let them in the vault, and they become vault dwellers, and they put the vault uniform on. And they've all got different stats, okay? So they've got quite a few different stats, like perception, strength, luck, all of this stuff. And what you have to do, when you build a building, like a room, so if you put in like a diner, this will generate food. But you need to put people in with the corresponding stat to work the diner, else it won't be as effective.
Right.
So you can put people in, or you can put people in who don't have the stat, and they think they work the stat up over time. So okay, that's fine. So you've got your food, your diner, you've got your water filtration plant, you've got your power generator, so you're assigning people to them, and you've got your dwelling, which is where you can put a man and a woman together, and they may have a baby, because that's the way to increase your population of your vault. There are other ways of doing it. You can get special people, special dwellers can join and stuff like that, but I'll explain that in a sec. So, yeah, the gameplay boils down to you put the rooms down. You need to make sure that you've got water, food, and electricity. But the way it works is, after a certain amount of time, a room will be ready for collection. Now, this is a very mobile kind of thingy. You know, like I don't know if you've played any of these games. I'll just explain it. The room will start flashing green, so you have to actually click on it to recover the stuff.
Right.
If you don't click on it, you don't recover it. So you have to have that app open to recover, and it will keep sending you notifications on your iPad. Oh, room ready for collection. Oh, a baby has been born. Oh, so you have to open it back up and click on it. Instead of actually just looking at the game. So this is like a typical mobile fare when you play games like, that was for you as well, that excuse me, you dirty bastard.
They wouldn't know, I muted it.
Dirty bastard.
I've got control this out.
Clash of Clans and shit like that, where you've got like a resource and you have to click on it to collect it. So it's kind of a bit mobile. Well, it's a mobile game, so whatever. But then what you've got to do is you get quests, and you get quests all the time, right? When you complete a quest, you'll get money, right? The PopCap things. You obviously need these to build additional rooms to increase the size of your vault, and then as you get more dwellers, then you unlock different buildings. So you get like a med center and all this shit, and a science thing and whatever. And that's kind of the progression of the game. But it looks like you can build a really massive vault when you go on. But the kind of pay, well, it isn't pay to win, but the pay element of the game are these lunch boxes, okay? And they're like crates from Team Fortress. That's the best like kind of comparison I can give you.
Right.
But you buy it and you can open it, and it'll have stuff inside it, right? It won't just have one item. In fact, it's like a Hearthstone card deck, actually. So you open it, and it'll be like, a card might be 100 PopCap things, which is pretty good. And then it might be a special dweller. Then it might be a bit of armor. Then it might be a weapon or something like that. And it's like, oh, okay. That's really quite good. So what you keep doing is trying to complete all of these objectives. Because it would be things like collect 100 power. Well, to collect 100 power, you need to wait for the room to finish, don't you? Yeah. So it goes green, you can click on it. But what you can do is you can click on the room and you can force the rush. Now, I was expecting this to be paid, but it's not. In most mobile games, time restricted stuff, because it'll be like, room will be ready for collection in 2 minutes and 50 seconds, yeah? Rush. And I click rush, and I'm like, here we go. This is going to say £1 or whatever to rush it,
Yeah.
because this is what they do. But it doesn't. It just gives you a percentage chance based off people who are in the room and other factors. Like, and it's like, oh, it's like a 30% chance it'll rush. So I click it, and it goes, and it'll go fail or complete. If it fails, something will happen to the room, like it'll set on fire, it'll be like a radiation leak, or rad roaches will infest or something. You get to clean it up. But if they don't, you get the resource quick. So you can actually progress quite quick in this game. It isn't like something that you got to sit there and be like, oh, I've got to come back in 10 hours' time. No,
it's not
can
like
kind of rush
it's
it.
not like mobile dungeon keeper style where to mine out blocks you've got to pay to do it faster, otherwise it'll take like 2 hours to.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Just
the only
gameplay.
stuff you can buy is basically items and dwellers, but it's random. It could be money as well. You can buy the lunchboxes, or like me, I've not bought any. I've just been completing the quest to get them, and I found myself actually enjoying this game quite a bit, because it's not. I feel like there's something for me to do all the time. I'm not just sitting there waiting for time, because you can also send dwellers out into the wasteland to go and explore, but you don't see them explore, and they go for as long as you want them to go, and it takes them half as long as they've been out there to get back to your place. So I had a really powerful like level 26 woman in like steel brotherhood armor and a fucking laser or something. It gave me out of the first lunchbox I've got. I'm guessing it gives this to everyone just so you could kind of go out and explore. So I sent her out, and she was gone for ages, and then I sent her back, and she came back with quite a bit of money and stuff like that. She took damage, so you have to heal them and all that stuff. So it's actually pretty good. It's not a bad game. People were saying to me on Twitter though, there's no paywall in this game. There kind of is. It just, like I said on Twitter, it isn't a wall. It's more like a little thing. It's like a stumble, because it's what you buy are items and money and dwellers. And if you've got better dwellers and you've got more money, you can build more rooms. So what tends to hold me back a lot is not having enough pop caps and enough like bottle tops or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
From the Nuka-Cola. If I don't have enough of that, then I can't build a room, or I can't upgrade a room. So I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm like, come on. There's a luck stat you've got on people as well. If it's high, there's more chance of money being generated when a room completes its function. So I've got a guy who's got like 7 luck, which is really high, and he works in the med bay because he's really intelligent. And when he finishes a stim pack or whatever the hell I've had him make, there's a good chance that he might make me like 30 or 40 quid when he does it. And it's like, ooh, that's quite good. So it is very addictive. But what I can see happening is when it gets really complicated, there's going to be almost too much to manage. When you've got tons of rooms, there's going to be loads of stuff. Like you're going to be constantly speeding rooms up. You're going to be, because you can click on dwellers and change their equipment, give them weapons, give them armor, and the armor will do different things to them, like give them different stats. Like if you give them weapons, that'll make them more effective at fighting off like rad roach infestations, or if raiders break into the vault, or you can upgrade the vault, you can have guards at the front. There's loads of different stuff. It's actually quite good for a mobile game. I'll give it that. It's quite good, and it isn't pay to win, but you can spend money on lunchboxes, and lunchboxes will contain money and better dwellers.
But
so
it's like, there's like it's like a chance based thing though. It's like you're not sure what you're going to get from each lunchbox. So or at least
but it's a chance based thing where you'll always get a rare, or you'll always get a certain type of card, which you could go and get from the wasteland. Don't get me wrong, but who knows what happens in the wasteland?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I have to admit, when he talked about it, I was like at the presentation, I kind of thought, is this going to be like just a cash grab tie-in? Like, is it going to be something where it is like full of pay to win stuff, where it's like to build a room or to do whatever you want to do, you've got to wait 20 hours, but if you pay however many, bottle tops or whatever, then it will take less time. I'm actually kind of relieved that that's not the case, because that would be really crappy.
I unfairly assume that on Hotfix, and we all know assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups, but I thought it would be that, because it's a mobile game. Yeah. You just would expect it. Why would it be any different?
I mean, that's just the state of that industry.
It still kind of is like that, though. It isn't like...
There is definite ways to hurry along your ability to play the game by buying the lunchboxes. It's just
because it will give you money, which will then let you build more rooms.
It's
and
like it's not necessary to play the game, but it does make it easier and quicker. So
I think like money and dwellers are kind of the problem I've noticed, because it takes a long time for people to have a baby. It isn't like you just put them together in a room and there's a baby and there's another dweller. It's like it takes some time. I had like 3 pregnant women, and they've had the babies now, but it wasn't like a 5-minute job and here's the baby. So if you were buying the lunchboxes and getting dwellers out of that, that's going to allow you to, because you have to assign dwellers to rooms, and you can have 2 in each room. I think some can have more. And like things like little base management things, like if you put the same rooms together, you can merge them into one big room. And like so you can put more people into working in that room and stuff like that. So it's okay. It's a good time waster. And if you like Fallout, you'll no doubt like it. And I don't think it's a bad mobile game because it doesn't try to rip you with money. Like it's totally playable without the money. Whereas when I played, I use the term played very loosely, but when I played Clash of Clans and even the Warhammer Drop Pod Assault thing, whatever it was called, I think it was Drop Pod Assault.
It was Drop Pod Assault.
Horus Heresy, something. They're okay for about 2 or 3 hours, and then you do hit a wall, and it's like, okay, I want to go out and do this, but I can't. I have to come back in 40 minutes' time, and that's where it gets you, and you sit there and think, but if I just pay £1, I could do it now. I never did, because I'm not a wanker.
And then it's like an hour later, it's like, oh, well, if I just pay another £1, then I'll be able to. And that's where you get these, what they call whales, isn't it? Where they just spend and spend and spend to constantly unlock stuff.
I mean, there's YouTube channels based on that game, Clash of Clans, and it's just like horrendous. I don't even know what's going on there. There's like a guy who streams it as well, but it's weird. It's really weird. But this game is totally playable, and it isn't like an online game either. You can just play. It's just like an app. You can just play it on your own. There's no nobody can come and attack your vault. Or
so there's no kind of required connection, or there's no kind of
you just play it. Yeah.
That's not bad then. That's better than I kind of assumed it.
Well, it's a brilliant marketing idea to have an app, and it's actually not a shit app. Like it's well made the way it looks and everything. Even if it was full of microtransactions and stuff, but it's not. So that kind of does help it. But yeah, the brand of Fallout is getting massive advertising at the moment, and they're doing quite well. Old Todd, what's his face, Howard, probably loving it big.
I still can't believe though. It's like to be at the top of the iTunes charts. It's like people might think that we're kind of making a big deal of that for no reason, but it is a big deal. Like it genuinely is a big deal because it means it's generating an enormous amount of cash. And I mean, stuff like Clash of Clans and stuff
wasn't that making like 2 million a day? Clash of Clans at the top. That's something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about how popular mobile games are, it's like they're in a way they're kind of in a different league to the stuff that you see on PC or console because it's a much wider market because it appeals to pretty much everybody, not just people who own an Xbox or a PlayStation or a decent gaming computer. I mean, my mum plays Clash of Clans.
Show the people what you got.
So, right, here's the I ran out of mocha coffee things for my coffee machine.
I've run out of them. I had not mochas. It was the latte ones, but the full fat ones. They're fucking amazing. But I've run out. It was my ritual. I'd take one. And then I'd go on my bike ride with McGee and come back. But this morning they didn't have one. I was like, no.
Yeah, I ran out of mocha and I was like, well, okay, I need some more of this. Ordered some. I ordered one of those tab things as well that you like the stand.
Tabs, blow, you on drugs?
Not the what is it called? It's like a holder for the capsules.
Oh yeah, it's like a metal thing.
Because I have like 8
Do you want to be all fancy and put?
Well, yeah, it's because I've got 8 different boxes of coffee, and it was like taking up all the side. So it arrived today, and I was like, "Awesome, coffee's arrived, excellent."
You're worse than me with this thing.
I know it's really bad. I'm having like 2 cups of coffee a day, and I never used to have any.
It's so nice, though, ain't it?
Really
Holy
is.
shit!
It's so good. And I was like, "Okay, awesome, my coffee's arrived, brilliant." It's like this box is a bit big. What's going on here? This is like bigger than I thought it would be. I open it up, and I'm like, there's my box of 3 boxes of mocha all together. There's my stand for my capsules. What the fuck is this? It's in its own box. And so there's another brown box inside the brown box.
Oh my god.
I open it up and I'm presented with... Hang on, let me get the box down here. There we go. And I'm presented with this box. And I'm like, what? I just want to make something clear. I've not ordered this. Right, I didn't go on Amazon and I was like, yeah, I'll have a box of coffee, something to hold the capsules, and a fucking Xbox One controller. I don't have an Xbox One. And I was like... Right, and I opened this because I thought, is this like some sort of piss take? Like, has someone gone to a lot of effort to mess about? Because I don't know
like
why
a brick in there. Or
I don't know why you would. No, it's just an Xbox One controller. So I've randomly got, for no reason whatsoever, I haven't ordered this. I haven't paid for this. I don't want this. I don't need it. I don't have an Xbox One. I've got a 360 controller plugged into the computer. So why would I need a replacement for that? Because this is exactly the same. It's just not quite as ugly. It's like, that's not a reason enough to replace it, is it? But apparently I've got this. But it was packaged in with stuff that I'd bought because it was being delivered the same day. And I checked and I was like, the only person who has my address is my family, obviously, some of my friends who all know that I play on the PC, and none of them would just buy me a random Xbox One controller anyway, because who the fuck would even do that? And you.
And why would it be in the package anyway?
Why would it be in the package? So I don't know. I have no idea what's happened, but... Apparently, I've got a new controller from PC, but I don't know why or where it's come from.
I had an amazing Amazon victory last night because I was looking around for Like what? I've got the computer behind me over there. It's still a mess in this room. I don't know if you can see my head. I don't know how Kira's got this set up. But over there behind me,
the
there's
t-shirt.
like
Oh yeah.
oh my god, praise the sun, baby.
Praise the sun.
There's a chest of well, that ain't a chest of drawers. It's just a fucking thing, a bookcase, right?
Shelving unit.
That's just shit. Like that is just there, and it's like not even against the wall. It's just like in the middle of the room. I've got to get all of that shit off there and put it somewhere. I don't know where this is. Oh yeah, there's a capture card in that computer, yeah, which I use for the 40k stuff, right? But it was a capture card that was in this computer. But I don't like that because it's an AverMedia bag of shit capture card, and it doesn't do 60 FPS at 1080p, or it doesn't. It does it at 720, but it's not very good. I know you streaming it. You shouldn't stream at 1080p 60 FPS games because that looks shit. For 40k, it's a bit different. But I'm not going to use it in that computer. I'm going to use it in this computer because the reason I explained that just was because that AverMedia card, you can use it at 720 FPS, at 720p at 60 FPS, but it has to display it at that. So if you play a console game that is 1080p, 60 FPS, it shits it down to 720 for you to see it, so you get a shit. It's shit. Like, yeah. I mean, I know I could use my splitter and maybe get around it and all that shit, but it's like, it was too much work for me and I couldn't be bothered. So what I've done now, because I needed another capture thing, is I've got that thing, you've got that Elgato HD60.
Yeah,
but this isn't all ideal because it has delay on it, yeah. So for live streaming, well, that's not good, I thought. And I'm like, this is shit. Because I was going to buy this Mimsonic capture card from Japan, and it's like 300 quid. I was like, Jesus Christ. But I was going to get it because it looks amazing and it's got like all this shit. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a way around the delay for these Elgato things because the quality of the Elgato is fine.
Oh yeah, the quality is really good. It's 1080p and 60 FPS just all the time. That's just
that's all I want because I want the input of that, and then with OBS, I'll just drop it down to 720 and stream at 60 FPS. That's fine. But all I need this for is it's not going to do any hardware encoding. It's just going to be basically giving me the picture to my monitors so then I can stream from my computer. Like So I've got that, and I've worked a way out of. There's about a 3-second delay, although it depends on your system configuration. I think it just depends on what USB port you're using, essentially. But it'll be a USB 3.0 port, so it should be about 3 seconds, I think, the delay. But what I can do is stagger my audio from my mic and my webcam image by 3 seconds on OBS, so it'll be in sync. So what you guys will see when I stream will be 3 seconds in the past, but it will be perfectly in sync, which is what I wanted because I need that. And I'm like, if that works, that's great. But my Amazon victory was a fucking immense victory, bloke, because I googled it. I was like Elgato HD60, and it came up. It's like 139 quid or something. I'm like, just think this is what we paid for yours because we got yours from somewhere. Yeah, because we ordered it, didn't we? You went and got it.
Yeah.
I was prepared to pay that. I was like, it's fine. But then I went off and did all this research. Then I came back, went to Amazon. Guess what's on Lightning Deal? Oh my God. And I'm like, this is so lucky. And it was down to 95 quid. And I was like, and it had free next day delivery on it as well. So I should get it.
That's really good.
Today. And I was like, wow, that was really lucky because I almost just ordered it and I just saved like 40, 50 quid or something. I was like, wow, nice one. So
I got really confused yesterday because we were talking about capture cards yesterday on Skype. And I remember you're asking me about a splitter, weren't you, about an HDMI splitter? Because at the moment, I use my cap card for quite a few things. Like especially when I was doing Steam Gift Gamble every week, it was like I used the capture card for that because I just pressed record and then I just synced up the audio and that was it. There was no messing about. But I can't have it plugged into the computer and the PS4 at the same time because I don't have a splitter. And I remember ages ago, I'd bought one off Amazon.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think the one I got was like 30 quid, which seemed a bit expensive at the time, but I didn't know anything about it. I was like, this is exactly what I need. I know what it is. Screw it, I'll buy it. Bought it. It never arrived. Like, it just never turned up. I don't know whether it was not dispatched, whether it got lost in the post or what. But I went back to Amazon. I was like, yeah, I ordered this. I don't know where the hell it's gone. You know, what is going on? And I got a full refund, which was great. Last night, after we talked about it, I was like, yeah, I need to get a splitter because I can't do anything with the PS4 at the moment. I need to, without unplugging it from the back of the PC, and that's a whole, messing about thing. So I went onto Amazon. I found exactly the same thing, which, according to Amazon, was 45 quid normally, slashed down to $6.99.
Well, I hope it's the one I'm about to show you now because I know this one works for a fact. It has to be a powered splitter as well. If it isn't powered, it won't work.
Yeah, it is.
If it's because I had a a cable which wasn't powered, and it was really bad. But it's this thing that
it is HDMI. It is exactly that.
The good thing with this is this goes around, the HDMI protection. So, like, but you don't need that, obviously, because the new consoles don't have that. But you used to need it for PS3 and stuff like that. But that one would just circumnavigate it. But, like, what I'll do now is I'll get... Well, I can also do iPad recording through this as well. But anything with HDMI output, basically, I'll stick into the Elgato. The output will just be a splitter into my monitor. It depends what the actual preview in the software is, but I think the software is pretty shit, so I don't think I can use that.
Yeah,
but
the software is not great.
It doesn't matter anyway, so I can pull the image into the computer from and set it up as a source in OBS, and then that'll be fine. And then I can just use the splitter to ram the HDMI into one of the fucking 5 HDMI ports in the back of my monitor and just swap it over, and it'll be fine. And then I can like just plug and play all of the consoles I've got into it, and it'll be great. But like, really, if I wanted to be cheap, I could just get away with the capture card I've got. It just means physically taking it out of that computer and putting it into this computer. Like, that's why I don't know whether you can see, but this computer on the floor, it's like all pulled out from the wall and shit, and it's a mess in there because I'm taking the capture card out and sticking it into this because I need it for iPad recording. And it's like, it's a bit shit, but what I'm looking for is just having like my setup sorted out, which
just being able to turn around and do it without having to mess about, take stuff out of one, put it in the other, and then replace it. And
because it adds up, like the time all adds up. Like, I mean, okay, it might only take 10 minutes to do, but like if you're doing it every day or you're doing it a lot of days a week, suddenly that's like an hour a week has been spent pulling out this thing and putting it in, and it's like it adds up. So yeah, that was a gift I bought. Well, it's not really a gift, but you know what I mean.
Saving 40 quid, I'd count that as a gift.
Well, yeah.
One of the things actually I do like about the Elgato software is that I've only done it once, but it's going to sound stupid. I didn't hit record. I was recording my audio with Audacity, like from the microphone, and I didn't hit record for the game, but I started recording for my own microphone, and then I did the whole video. And I think it might have actually been Takedown Red Saber that I did this with, that Steam gift gamble, and I did it, and I was like, well, shit, I've got to do it again now, but it's going to be crap because I've just played the game. Like, the point is I don't know what the game is, but I know what the game is now because I've just played it for like a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. This is really crap. It's got a thing that you can turn on and off, which luckily I left on, whereby it's constantly recording or caching a recording, and you can just grab the timeline at the bottom of the software and drag it back to the point where you wanted to start recording. So I finished the video. I was like, oh, great, I'm going to have to do this again. It's going to be really crap. And then I sort of saw the thing down the bottom, and I was like, oh yeah, hang on. I dragged it back, and it just saved everything from that point in the past up to where I'd stopped. And the whole thing was salvaged. And I was like, I don't know how many people find a use for that, but as I've just done something and I forgot to hit the record button, that's not a bad feature.
It's like that's... There's a reason why the Elgato is the top thing for consoles, because that's good. Because you're not going to... like. You're going into a recording knowing you're going to make a recording. Yeah. But if you're like COD Elite Gamer XX13 whatever, fucked your mother up the arse last night gamer, then you don't know what's going to happen. So you need to be constantly recording. And the games are so quick. It's like, wow, I had a great moment, and they go back and capture it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I've got to say this, right? A lot of people get confused with capture cards and stuff like that. They think they are actually hardware encoders, and they are not, right? The Elgato is in the sense of it will capture and record what you are doing, right? But for streaming, it is not going to encode on the fly for streaming. It just ain't going to do that, is it? It needs to be...
It's just an input device at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like the Live Gamer HD I've got. That was touted as a hardware encoder. It even says on the card, hardware encoder. It is a fucking load of shit. It is not a hardware encoder. It can encode, but the quality is abysmal. It doesn't even do 720p, I don't think. It just is garbage. So... all they are is just a means of getting the image from a console, or like Kiri's obviously was using his captures piece, that's different, but just use my console example. Getting an image into the capture card, which then can be put into something like OBS or XSplit, which you can then stream. That's all they're for, basically, in my eyes, anyway. I mean, the Elgato thing would be quite good if we went to... maybe do some like remote recording possibly or something like but again you'd need to plug it into a laptop and record it to the laptop and whatever. It's not just going to do it itself magically.
That's the thing as well, when you're recording with it, it's like it's capable of it. It is not quick. It is not quick with it. If you're recording anything over about 20 minutes, you're going to have to wait a significant amount of time to actually be able to access the recording again, because if you're doing multiple takes, like this is why I will do it. I'll use it for things like Steam Give Gamble, but I'll use it for Steam Give Gamble if I know it's a game that I'm going to have to mess about with for OBS. Like if I look at the age of it, there's a certain, like, past a certain point, it's not worth me trying to record it in OBS, because OBS will just crap itself and it won't know what's going on, and I'll have to mess about with sound levels and do this, that, and the other, and it'll just be like, by the time I come to record it, I'm like, I'm already sick of this, which is a really bad way to go into recording, because you're like, you know, after you've faffed about for a quarter of an hour, and then it doesn't work, and you faff about for another, you lose the excitement of doing the actual recording. Whereas with the Elgato, I can just go click, done. But if you have to do repeated takes for whatever reason, it's no good for that, because you'll just have in the folder where you're saving your video, you will just have unusable file after unusable file for up to an hour and a half to 2 hours after you've finished. And like, you can't do anything with them. You literally can't. It's impossible. No. You've got to wait for them to finish. Whereas OBS, it's like, when I stop this recording after we do this podcast, it's like a second, and I can just throw it in.
Because that's actually doing that's encoding on the fly, which is what a lot of people think that these capture cards will do.
And they don't.
But they don't. Like, only extremely high-end ones will do that, because they need, like, need some power to do that. They need dedicated encoder chips on them, and a lot of them don't. They just, So, that was a thing I got. A game that I played, which I haven't played for, I played for an hour. Ow, that was painful. I played for an hour about 3 years ago, was Dishonored. And I streamed that. At this point, when you're watching this video, I would have streamed it again on Friday night, but this is just before we've done the stream on Friday, so I haven't played it just yet, so I can only go off my one gameplay session. Quite a good game, this is. A game which I can only... I'm pretty sure I found the AI crap when I played it before, but I can't believe that was enough for me to not play the game, because the AI is not the best. You know, it's like any typical stealth game. You know, I'm in the shadows. I'm clearly looking around. It just makes me laugh, because it's like, imagine... This is my Batman Arkham shit. Imagine if, like, I'm like, this is a wall, and I go... and I'm looking right at you, and you're just like going, I heard a noise. What's that? And you walk around like that thing, you know, I'm just like...
Yeah.
But I ignored that, and I played it, and it's quite a good game. It's got some nice little bits and pieces with it. You get this crazy heart, which is like this mechanical heart of a living being or something ridiculous, but it knows everything about areas you're in, and you can talk to it. So when you're running around, you can point it at people, and it'll tell you about their history. And there was this like guy, he was just a civilian, like in a back street, and I pointed at him, and it was like, whatever his name was, he eats like a king while his children starve. So I just cut his throat. In the street.
That's cool.
And there's also like ways you can play the game. So I mean, a lot of you guys have played the game, so you're like, Jesus Christ, I get into this millennia. But you can be a murderer or you can be stealthy. But the more people you murder, it has an effect, because you have to keep going back to the same areas. It's not like at different levels. It's like you go back, the story progresses, but it changes depending on what you've done, and you have to keep going back to the same areas. And if you've been murdering everyone, there's more weepers about. These are like people who have been devoured by rats, basically, and they're just plagues just coming out of them all over the place. Oh, but because you've been murdering loads of people, there's more food for rats, isn't there? So it means there'll be more weepers. So if you don't murder people, then it gets kind of easier in one respect, but it's harder to not murder people.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty, and I've got to be honest, it's quite easy. Because I can just wreck people instantly with one hit, and I can blink all over the place dead quick, and I can run dead quick, and I can just like alert guards and then hide, and then just shoot them in the head and kill them. So I can be really like, I think it's much easier to play when you just kill people. If you were going for like a total stealthy approach, I mean, you get things like at the end of the levels, it'll be, how many times have you been detected? And there is like an award for not getting detected at all in a level, which you could do.
Yeah.
But like, because there's an ability, dark vision, it's called, and it shows you where people are through walls, and it shows you where they're looking. And I said on the stream, and I'm going to use the word chat, but wholly justifiably here, and I was like, chat, I am not using this because this is just, it's just like too easy with that on. I can just turn it on, and I'm like, well, I can see where everybody is and walk around. So I've not been using that, and I've just been sort of trying to like look around corners and see what's what. So it means I get detected, but to me that's better for me, because it's how I would play the game. And like, it's my first playthrough, so I'm not going for like a stealth playthrough or just a murder spree playthrough. I'm playing it like how I would. So I try with stealth, but if stealth goes wrong, then I have to bring out the weapons and start killing people. Then I'll do it, and then I'll just carry on. I won't like reload it in and then try and do it stealthy, because that takes it out of it for me. You know, I just want to go through it. But I'm not sure how long the game is. I played it for about 5 hours now, and as I say, I'm looking forward to playing it again. Although when you're watching this, I probably played it for about 10 hours, so it's very hard for me to know. In fact, I know more than I actually do know now. By the time you see this, good God.
Well, I picked up Scholar of the First Sin in
the Dark Souls 2
in the
remake thing. Well,
in
it's not
the
remake,
Steam sale.
it's
It's like an upgrade. That's the only way to describe it. I mean, the fact that when I bought it was literally called the Scholar of the First Sin.
I haven't
upgrade.
bought anything from the Steam sale.
That's the only thing that's really grabbed my eye. I mean, I've actually put Dishonored on my watch list now, so if that turns up, I'll grab that because I watched a bit of the stream that you did, and I was like, it passed me by when it came out, but it actually looked quite good. But I got Scholar of the First Sin because I'd heard from some people that it was like, it kind of fixes Dark Souls 2. It makes it make more sense. It's like it's a bit more Dark Souls than it was. I don't agree with them at all. Like I've played it for about 2 hours at this point. I don't know why they've done it. Like I genuinely don't know. It doesn't seem to look particularly better. It looks about the same as it did before. It's smoother. It's undeniably smoother, but it's not like it's graphically pleasing all of a sudden because it looked a bit rough to begin with because it was on the older consoles for a start. When you go to Majula the first time, and then you can go, like, there's 3 different pathways you can go out of Majula. You can go off to the right and go through the crazy cliff pathway, and you end up with all those big giant guys. You can go, I think, down the central one, and you end up in like a big like circular ruin, and there's a white knight guy sitting against a tree.
Yeah,
and there's
you can't get through it just yet.
Yeah, there's like undead guys around the place. The first time we played Dark Souls 2, I thought there were maybe 4 to 5 undead guys around that area. Right, there weren't that many.
Oh yeah,
they're easy to deal with.
Yeah. Where they walk up by the river.
Yeah, they've doubled it. Like literally, there's just more enemies. Like I ran through there because I was like, oh yeah, there's only a few of them. I'll go up this ladder, it'll be fine. I ran through. It aggroed like all of them for a start, like the whole lot. I meant to go up the ladder, and there's a guy like inexplicably already halfway down the ladder that just kicks you in the head and knocks you off. So I land, and I'm like, fine, I'm gonna have to fight them. And then there's like a horde of them, and you literally can't do anything about it. And I was like, well, that's a bit shit. Okay, what the hell?
This is where I had a big... that is just fucking stupid. But then, you're running through the level. They know you're going to do this because you've played the game before. And there's a guy halfway up the ladder that you don't know he's there, but he's going to knock you down, and then you're going to get killed. That is like... But I hate that shit.
I was just like, so there's just a ton of enemies here. I couldn't see anything else different. I was like, so there's the White Knight that you can't really interact with at that stage, and there's a bunch of enemies. Okay, well... Fuck, I won't go there. Then I'll go to where the giants are.
You can kill the White Knight. That's the thing about it. Get his
gear. I was like, I'll go the other way. I'll go the cliff path and go through that gap in the cliff and go through there. So I went to where all the big giant guys are in the area that kind of looks like Anor Londo, but isn't really. And it's just above the sea. And it's the Tower of Tower of the First Flame? I think it's called. And I go down there.
I know what you mean. It's got like all the big bridges and shit.
Yeah, and the first thing I noticed is like, why is there another White Knight there?
Oh, they've just put more enemies.
Why is there a White Knight?
More enemies
but he doesn't do anything unless you attack him.
No,
he's exactly the same. So it's like, okay, there's one there. They're everywhere, bloke. They were everywhere in that area. Every time you go into another like larger open space, there's one of those guys sitting by the side. And I was like, the thing that when I first played Dark Souls 2, it didn't drag me in the way that Dark Souls did. I didn't think the design was anywhere near as good. It didn't have the same atmosphere. It was disappointing to me. But little things like having things like the White Knight that are just sat there, it's like, well, he's not aggroed me. What the hell's going on? It's like, it's intriguing, ain't it? It's like, this is a mystery. What do you do? Do you attack him? Do you see if there's something to do with the story with him later on? If you like go further on and then come back, will he then be interactable? Going through a fucking doorway and seeing that there's like 8 of them in quick succession, it goes from being a thing of mystery and a thing of, what is this? To just being like, okay, so there's like 18 of these guys and I don't know why. Like, what is the point? Like, what is the purpose of them being there? What do you do? And I still haven't found out. Like, I still don't know. The Scholar of the First Sin, for all that people have said that it fixes the order of things and makes it a bit more Dark Souls, upping the enemy count by like doubling it and just taking one guy and copy and pasting him all over an area where he wasn't before, that's not fixing the game. Like, it sounds bad, and I could keep playing it and I might find out why they've done it or what the deal is.
Would the game have been better if that was how it was on launch, though? More guys around?
I don't know if it would, because adding a bunch of extra enemies doesn't really add anything to Dark Souls. I mean, the number of enemies was never the thing that made Dark Souls good, was it? It's not like you were
No.
going into fights and then coming out and going, oh, well, that was all right, but it would have been better if there was like 8 of them instead of 4. It's all about learning the pattern and overcoming the fact that, you are so fragile and you need to know what you're doing and not like be impulsive and just dive in. Just doubling the number of enemies in a certain area does not make a Dark Souls game. It just makes it like irritating, just frustrating. I mean, the first time I went through that area and I got kicked off the ladder because there was a guy halfway down it already, and then there was like 10 guys like right behind me blocking the doorway instead of 5.
Yeah.
I didn't immediately think, oh, this is better. I just thought, what the fuck is this? Like, what was the point of that? To the point where I just ignored it. I was like, well, I'm not going to go back there then. I'll try somewhere else, because I didn't feel like this has made it better. I just felt like someone was being a dickhead, to be honest.
It's almost. It sounds like when you get somebody who makes a stupid map mod for a game and they just put loads of enemies in for the sake of it. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I've only played it for a couple of hours.
I've not played it.
I kind of, a lot of it was just kind of wandering around trying to see what's different. But I was kind of hoping that I'd get the upgrade, which I did. I bought the upgrade in the Steam Summer Sale. It was like £7. It upgraded the game, and I was like, okay, awesome. This actually could be good now. I might enjoy this. I didn't. I was just like, so it's still exactly like Dark Souls 2.
I mean,
if they have fixed stuff, I don't know where it is.
Going to slate you in the comments here. They're going to be like, well, no, this is different, that's different. I think just like judging it based on like a 2 hours of gameplay isn't enough because it's Dark Souls.
Oh no, but it's like,
well, I know the DLC isn't any different for it. I know that for a fact because Ruby told me that. Because he was telling me about he was playing through it again, and he just hasn't, like, people were asking him about the DLC, and he's like, I'm just not even going to bother because it's exactly the same, so why would I? It's just the base game that's different, I believe.
It's like, I know 2 hours isn't a lot to judge it, but it's like when I was playing it, go away, Wasp. When I was playing it was like, I went in expecting something, and I went in expecting maybe more than I should have done, and I felt like the way that it was presented didn't do it any favors. Like I never had any complaints about like enemy density or how many white knights there are around in Dark Souls 2. That wasn't my focus for why the game wasn't as good as Dark Souls 1. It was a lot more subtle stuff like that. Like, it was the atmosphere, it was the tension it provided, and the fact that the tension wasn't really there. It was the way that it felt disjointed. Scholar of the First Sin hasn't fixed that for me, and my ability to go and explore and kind of try and find out more has been hampered by the fact that when I started playing it again, it was like it didn't really do anything except make it harder than it already was, which it is not. That's not what Dark Souls is. It's not just a game where it's all about fuck you, play a lol. It's learning and adapting and becoming good at recognizing patterns and surviving and being able to fight without just being an idiot and getting yourself wrecked.
Well, I've just Googled it, and like I can just see people just saying things like, oh, one point a dragon just turns up that you have to fight, which wasn't there before. It just looks like they've just rammed in loads of enemies, to be honest.
It's like I want to get further in, and I think, I mean, I said in Hotfix on Thursday, my wife and I are on holiday for a couple of weeks. For the second week, we're not going away. Like, we'll be here, so I'll probably try and play it a bit during that time and like properly put some hours into it. But I'm just kind of hoping that initial impression that I've had, where it was just like, here's a bunch of enemies, turns out to be false, and it was like maybe a misjudgment to start with. Because what I've always said with games is they need to be able to grab you, isn't it?
Yeah. It says that there's a new boss, right? Aldia, the Scholar of the First Sin, right? There's a new NPC called the Scholar of the First Sin. New placement, there's an undead crypt, or in the undead crypt, sorry. There's a different bonfire, it looks like. Brightstone Cove, the first bonfire, is now outside the tent. So it just looks like what they've done is gone through and just changed the zones a little bit. They haven't changed the structure of them, they've just changed what's in them. It says there's a new event after defeating Aldia, which there would be because she's the new boss. There's new items, like 4 new items, it looks like. There's a new item effect, and then there's a lot of lore changes. It says items have had their descriptions altered and expanded by the Scholar of the First Sin. So it looks like they just tried to fix the stuff, because I know there was a thing with like the lore was a little bit strange, I think, at points.
Yeah.
So I never knew anything about it. Literally, that's the first time I've Googled it because I had no interest in it, because I just looked at my Steam and I've played Dark Souls 2 for 26 hours, the PC version. I'd completed it completely on the PS3, which probably took me about 40 hours or something. So I played this game for over 60 hours. I don't know why I played it for 26 hours on the PC, because I don't I don't remember where I got to.
No. I know we played it on stream for a while, but
yeah, but that's not 26 hours. That's like I probably
no.
messed about and I probably left it open, by accident. And Steam's just clocked the timing. But
for me, it's all about that. For games, it's all about that thing of, I guess, in a way, when Steam put their 2-hour limit on refunds, it's like 2 hours is quite a good amount of time to get a feel for a game. And the first couple of hours of Dark Souls 2 by itself didn't really impress me. The first couple of hours of Scholar of the First Sin, where I'm like trying to, I'm essentially giving it a second chance and being like, yes, okay, let's do this. Let's power through, see if we can really get to grips with this. It did more than not impress me. It just irritated me because it felt like it was just like, it just felt like copy pasting stuff. Like that's what it felt like. Add an extra enemy here, an extra enemy here. Get the White Knight, stick him all over this area where he wasn't before, but there's no explanation for it. It's just he's there. It's like I don't know.
I know him. When you kept going through New Game Plus, every time you kept killing them, they would drop their gear, and you could basically get a full suit of armor from it. So through pasting them everywhere, I guess that just means you could get all their armor in one run through by just murdering a lot of them because they all drop a different bit. I think so. That's what the deal with them is. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But
that to me is like a really cheap way to do that. What happened to Dark Souls thing of like, you might kill a guy, but then find his arm in the chest, like near him or something. That kind of weird discovery of, whoa, why is this stuff here? This is crazy. Just sticking a bunch of enemies because one will drop a helmet, the other one will drop the legs, the other one will drop the chest, the other one will drop the gloves, one will drop the boots.
That may be the case. It might not be the case. But I'm sure that's what it was with New Game Plus with that guy, and other NPCs as well. But I don't know. It was just a bit
disappointing. I was kind of. I don't know why I was expecting more, but I kind of was. And
Ain't it all about Dark Souls 3 anyway now?
Well, I don't know. Having played Scholar of the First Sin, now it's like I was all for.
What about Bloodborne? I know you've not played that. What about that? Like, have you got an urge to play that?
Yeah, I want to get that. I do want to play that. That looked like. It looked like a faster, more kind of reflex-based Dark Souls to me. Like with the fact that you haven't got the shield, but you've got the
well, they reckon Dark Souls 3 is going to be between the two Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know whether I like that. You can get a shield, and you can play because I like to just have a sword and shield and run around. But like Bloodborne was like no. What I did like about the weapons in Bloodborne was the way they had they were like trick weapons and they change and they were like different. Yeah. Like it was one weapon, but it was two really. That was good. Bloodborne's still a good game. Bloodborne's better than Dark Souls 2 all day of the week.
Yeah.
Even if it is a little bit light on, I guess, lore and stuff like that. In terms of other stuff I've played, I've just faffed about on other bits and pieces. Like I played a bit of Counter-Strike Go. I've nothing really of note, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I've played this week was Hearthstone, which I haven't played for quite a bit of time. I had enough gold to unlock the first wing of the new. What's it called?
Adventure or something?
Adventure, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's BlackRock, Molten Core, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was, again, it's just Hearthstone. It's good fun. And, I had the goal to open the first wing. The only thing I didn't like was I got to the last guy. I think it might be
Ragnarok in it. Or Ragnaros or something like that.
Yeah, and I defeated him. But then he just went, no, you haven't defeated me, and gave himself 8 health and 8 armor. And I only had 8 health. And beat me, which was that kind of thing I don't like in any game because it feels like a bit of a cop-out. It just feels like a bit cheap when it's like the first time. If you're going blind, which I did with all of them because I wasn't just going to sit there and go, how do I beat what's his name on Google, because that would be really shit and cheap. I was like, oh, done him, killed him first time, easy. And then it's just like, yeah, no, you haven't, fuck you. And it's like that kind of thing irritates me a little bit. It's like the guy halfway down the ladder of Dark Souls 2. It's like, yeah, you think you've done it, but no. I also messed about in the brawl mode as well.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
That's actually quite good fun. Like, it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. You take control of bosses out of the adventure mode, and you have their decks and their crazy special abilities. So who is it at the moment? It's Ragnaros and one of the dragons at the moment. I can't remember the name of the dragon. And one of them starts out with No, it's
what colour is it?
I'm gonna find out because I played it yesterday and I've already forgotten the name of the guy. It's because they rotate it, like they have a certain brawl at a certain amount of time.
So you can only play what are you playing against other people or is it
it's against other people. That's it. It's Ragnaros and he's against Nefarian. so they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
And it's a bit crazy. Like Nefarian has got wild magic as his special power, which is it costs two mana, but it gives you a random spell from any class, and that spell costs no mana to cast. So like that's crazy.
It could be like Pyroblast straight away.
It could be anything. It could be something completely useless. Like I think
this is just like a totally ridiculous. Like you've got no. It's just even more random than Hearthstone is.
It's really random, but you do kind of have to watch out for certain stuff because they've all got different types of different cards. Like Nefarian's got a lot of dragons, and he's got cards that have got synergy with dragons. So if you've got a dragon in your deck and you play, I can't remember what the name of the card is, but they get 1/1 for dragon if you've got a dragon in your hand.
Yeah.
So if you've got like 4 dragons in your hand and you put them down, there's suddenly a problem for Ragnaros to deal with because it's
Raggy baby.
Oh god, this thing's got like 8 attack and 8 health, and it's just come out of nowhere, and it costs 2 mana. What the fuck do I do? But then again, Ragnaros has got crazy stuff as well. Like he puts down 5/1 magma rages, until he gets to half health, at which point he deals 8 damage to a random enemy. So it's like his ability changes as you go down. And it is stupid. Like there is some strategy
because
to
that
it.
was
Like,
his card. Yeah, that was his legendary card. I think in the game, wasn't it? When you played him, he would just deal random 8 damage.
Yeah, but it's just like 8 damage to a single enemy. It's not like Avenging Wrath where it's split between. It's just like one of them just gets slammed. He's also got one card, and I can't remember what the name of the unit is, but it costs. I think it costs like 50 mana.
50 mana.
But the price goes down for every bit of damage you take. So it's I think it's either 50 or 60. It might be 60 thinking about it. So that like when you've got 10 health and like things are dire, you can slap him down and he's 20/20. So like he is ridiculous. But at the same time, you could easily be just like shafted with that because if Nefarian gets say
it's like that giant thing, though, isn't it? Like that molten giant.
Yeah. He's got a molten giant as well.
It's like or something. I don't know.
It's like the molten giant, but on steroids. But Nefarian could get like polymorph or something and just turn it into a 1/1 sheep. So you just don't know. It's like it's stupid and it is really random. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said there was no strategy to it because there is. Because you kind of get a feel for what the different heroes do. And there are things that you have to watch out for. Like you have to keep an eye on certain things, otherwise you will end up losing. If you just go for face, for instance, with Nefarian, then you could be in trouble because Ragnaros could just slam down a couple of really good cards and beat the shit out of you instantly. But it is fun. Like it is really fun. It's like it feels to me like for people who want to take a break from like being on the ladder or doing arena. It feels like you want to play Hearthstone, you want to play against someone, but you don't want to be like have anything on the line. You just want to play the game for the hell of it, and it feels like that.
Hearthstone is Hearthstone has too much of a luck element in it. I know you need to build a deck.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing. You can't just throw cards down and just win. You can in some cases if you get really lucky, but if you're playing at the highest level, you can't. But there still is an element of luck. Whenever I've watched any of the Hearthstone tournament streams, it'll just be like the commentators will lose their mind because this guy is just waiting for a draw. Suddenly he gets the card he needs and then he wins the game. It's like that is not skill. That is luck, right? That's where games like Magic the Gathering are a bit different because they're not random like that as such. They are a little bit, but I don't think as much as like Hearthstone is. But Hearthstone is like. It's enjoyable, and I know it's a major time sink, and I know a lot of people enjoy it. It's like a massively played game, but I think, like for me, it still is a little bit too random. Like it would do my head in if, like I could play the game for ages and then turn up to play you. You could say I'm vastly better than you, but you beat me, and I'm just like, well,
yeah.
I know it's still based on luck.
The fact that
like, what the hell?
And the fact that things may have changed since I played. Like actually tried to rank up at all, but we had that thing where I think you were mostly using the paladin to go like proper against people, to rank up.
Yeah, this was ages ago though.
Yeah,
I think
this was a long time ago. I mean, it's
like
not
a Tankardin thing. It was like it was based on bubbles and shit.
Whereas I preferred Hunter, and I managed to find and tweak a deck where it was basically just kill anything that turns up on the board
spam decks,
and just keep slamming into the other guy's face. And you knew more about the game than me. Like, I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, well I knew more," because I didn't. You actually knew more about
I played
deck
it for quite a
compositions
bit,
than I did. But I got a higher rank than you at the end of that season, and that was because when I played, it was a very simple formula. It was just you wait for this combination, you get that combination, you will do them for like at least a third of their health, and
it
then
just comes
from
down
that
to what
point
you
on,
want
you
out of the
control
game,
board.
doesn't it?
And it's like
there are people who play the game, like all these videos off bloody Total Biscuit and Wildcrender or whatever. They're clearly not very good at the game, but they just do stupid things, and that's their thing. It's like, well, I'm just going to do this. I'm ranked 18 or whatever. I don't care. But when you want to play to get better at the game, and like you'd be in a situation like, well, I need this card. Like I really need what's his name, Tyrion, whatever his fucking name is for the
Lannister.
Paladin. Yeah, Tyrion Lannister. But I can't get him because I didn't have enough arcane dust or anything.
Yeah.
It's like I want to buy packs to get him. Like so that'd be annoying. But
that aspect
like,
of it is really
like,
crap
going
as
into
well.
Hearthstone and trying to take and giving any kind of opinion on it. It's just going to pull people out the woodwork who are just going to slay us anyway. So I don't care. But I still think it's a decent game. It's just
Oh yeah, it's a game where I really enjoy it, but I'm never going to take it seriously. Like I think unless
not an esport,
unless you've got unless you really love that kind of random element, you're not gonna be able to sit there and kind of just keep grinding away. It's like
the best players will be the best players, okay, but then when they come to the tournament positioning, rankings at the end of a tournament, it's just like what deck have you got against my deck? What card have I just pulled? Oh, I've won, and that's like that can never be an esport. And I know that's just a problem with the type of games they are anyway. And I'm sick to death that every motherfucker is announcing a fucking trading card game.
God, that's getting so irritating now. Stop. Once again, we're in that stupid position.
We never even spoke about this on the hotfix, the Bethesda one.
Yeah. It's totally pointless. It's like once again, it's that MOBA syndrome, ain't it? It's like MOBAs make money.
It was MMO before,
and then it's
that.
like, oh, Hearthstone makes a ton of money. So, yeah, but I mean, again, it's the same. It's exactly the same issue though. It's the same problem with MOBAs. It's like you've got LoL, you've got Dota 2, and you've got Smite. And Heroes of the Storm is a fourth to those three. Like, definitely, I'd think at this point it's still fourth to those three.
Oh yeah, but yeah. I don't think it's really going to. I mean, when we listen to Ruby and people like that go, "Oh, it's going to be massive," I don't think it's going to be that massive because again, I don't think that's an esport either because that's too like a pure esport game, right? It's a game where it's you against them, and
yeah,
they know what you do, you know what they do, and let's see who's got the best skill. That's what it is, right? It's why Counter-Strike's so popular. I've got an AK, you've got your fucking whatever, let's go. It's me against you, let's see what happens. Heroes of the Storm is too like, oh, there's a load of objectives, let's go and get the objectives. It's not like, it's just like, oh, I happen to be here and the objective popped and I've run down here. And it just seems a bit like, it will have esports and it has got esports on the go, but I don't think it's going to be as like LOL and Dota is very much like the complexity of those games, especially Dota.
Yeah, and
it's like it is. Are you a better player? It is.
And they're
are you
very.
lucky?
The other thing as well is they've got an advantage of being just so like firmly established, so rooted.
Christ, yeah,
they've had the market on lockdown for so many years at this stage. I mean, the invitational that's coming up that they've been selling compendiums for. Funnily enough, that's broken all the records for prize money again.
They do every year.
It will do every year. It will keep doing it like every year. You
look at games like Strife and other games that have came out and have just gone nowhere because they're not.
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah,
as well.
Right. Blizzard's game is no different, really. They're just using their heroes, but it's Blizzard behind it, and they can advertise it much better than some random studio EA have picked up. That's the only difference.
Like, they've got an advantage of a captive audience. That's what it boils down to.
And they fucking ram it down your face on the launcher, which everybody uses to play their games.
Yeah.
People are playing WoW, they're playing Hearthstone. Oh, there's Heroes of the Storm, and they give it a go, and then they might play it a bit. Like we said, I think it's enjoyable, but would it have done as well if it was just Captain Fantastic and Lady Lemon?
It wouldn't have made a dent. And of course, they have the ability to draw people in by the fact that it's heroes from the franchises. So, like at the moment, they're doing a big push for Diablo characters, which means that you will by just sheer kind of, I guess, not pressure, but the fact that you're putting Diablo characters, more of them, into Heroes of the Storm means that more Diablo players will give Heroes of the Storm a try. They will. Because it'll be like, I mean, the Monk's coming out soon for Heroes of the Storm, which means that people who main Monk on Diablo 3 may well look at the launcher and go, oh, Monk's in Heroes of the Storm. That's cool. What's that like? And they'll load it up, and they'll get a try.
Siege tank? I didn't know what it did. I was like, I like StarCraft. Give me the Siege tank. That was it.
Why did I end up using all of my gold to get Joanna?
Exactly.
My main in Diablo 3 is
a
Crusader. So I was like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, the abilities look like the abilities that she's got. I'll try it. And so there I am. I now play Joanna all the time, and it's in a way. I mean, you can't hate them for it. It's obviously really clever, but it's like that's the advantage they've got. That's what they've got over everybody else.
It's also the most expensive one.
Yeah, it's so
well, it seems to
costly.
be anyway.
It really does seem to be a lot more expensive than like LOL ever was. But I mean, the thing is, I don't know whether that. I think it is, but it's kind of hard to tell because when you make it so that stuff costs like IP, for instance, like it does on LOL or RP or whatever.
Well, I think the biggest problem you've got is on Dota, you get access to all the heroes.
Yeah.
On LOL, you don't, and on Heroes of the Storm, you don't. But if you want to play a hero, you might buy them with money because you want them right away.
Yeah.
Like the way I always operated on LOL was I never bought a hero, but after I played a hero for hundreds of games, I'd be like, I buy a skin because to me it would be worth it. Then it's like,
yeah,
I played Ari for fucking loads of games. I'll buy a Firefox skin because it was £8 or something, but that's fine because I've played her for like fucking hundreds of hours. So it's like that's how I always operate. But when they're sort of like, you want a hero? Like, I don't know. I guess I was just okay with LoL because I only really played mid. I didn't really play any heroes. I never really had that sort of drive to get loads of heroes. But with Heroes of the Storm, I kind of do because I'm like, well, I want to play this guy, but I don't have access to him. So, well, I can't afford him in gold. Do I buy him? I've not spent any money on the game yet, which maybe that'll change if I keep playing it.
No, I've managed to get away without doing that yet, and I don't think I will because I think there's enough in there to kind of keep you like unlocking stuff and different looks.
Well, listen to this. No, listen to this. If you want to play ranked, you have to own 10 heroes and you have to have certain amounts of stuff. So I think I'm going to get to 30 and I will not have the required number of heroes to even access the ranked. So I'll have to play more normal games or just buy heroes. Unless maybe I just buy shit heroes I've got no intention of playing because they're just dead cheap.
I mean, the ones that are like 2,000 gold, you can spend. You could get
I must have about 10,000 gold. Yeah,
you could get 5 heroes if you could find 5 that are 2,000. You could get 5. That's kind of that to me. I don't like that. That seems. On the one hand, you could say, well, you need a decent pool of heroes to play ranked. On the other hand, don't restrict people arbitrarily to a number of heroes to play ranked if they've already played the game up to level 30.
What about if you just go and buy a load of heroes and then suddenly you're forced to play one of them in a ranked game?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing as well. It's like having 10 heroes doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to play those 10 heroes. Like I've got. I mean, say I played Valor while she was free and then never played her again, but ended up unlocking her for whatever reason. If I've not played her for like 6 months, I'm still going to be shit with her, despite the fact I own her. It's not. It's not like me having her doesn't make me capable of playing her. So why put that restriction in place? It's just, yeah, I don't know. That kind of side of things is always a bit dodgy with Blizzard, anyway. I mean, when you look at the new hero portraits for Hearthstone, it's like $10 for a different coloured picture, like for just a different picture. And apparently, and the other thing as well is they have unique lines, right?
Yeah, new sound effects.
It's like okay, fine. Except apparently, other heroes, or like I think is it people in the adventure mode, or some heroes when they address the other ones.
They've not reused them, have they?
Yeah, they address them like they're the old portrait. So
right, okay, yeah.
Like the interaction is the same as it was before, except the person that you're supposed to be playing is not the same person that they're addressing. So it's like, how does that even work? Like that's cheap. That's really cheap.
That is cheap, yeah. Especially from Blizzard, you expect them to have covered that.
Yeah. But then again, they've introduced $10 portraits, but as people keep pointing out, where are the extra card slots? Like where are the extra deck slots?
Yeah,
where's all of that?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know why it doesn't have that. I don't know why it just doesn't have like pay $5, get an extra slot or something.
I don't know why they don't just have more slots anyway. It can't be that difficult to implement. Just make it scroll down. That's all it is.
Yeah, they don't want that though, do they? They could make it infinite easily, but they must be trying to get ready to fucking charge for it.
Yeah,
they've got to be. You, that's how they work, isn't it? Like a lot of, I guess, free to play like MMOs and stuff, like fucking Star Wars: The Old Republic. Oh yeah, want some backspace? Well, if you're not a monthly sub, you can fuck off. You're gonna have to buy that. One another button on your hotbar. You have to buy that.
It's a bit. I say it's a bit cheap. It's the opposite of cheap. It's expensive for the people playing. But again, in a way, that's the benefit of being Blizzard and having that captive audience.
Yeah,
we will always have people who pay for it. And for all the people that I saw complain about the portraits, I've seen just as many people go, "Oh, I love my new portrait on Hearthstone." So they get, as long as they can get away with it, which they can, they're just going to keep doing it. So,
one last thing I just want to talk about is Destiny, because I've been reading a bit about Destiny, and it seems that game is in a much different place than it was when they launched it, because they've been saying, Bungie have been listening to everything people have been telling them, and they've been changing the game up, and their expansion that's coming out is actually going to be like sort of Halo-ish, where it starts off with, you're on a ship, and then you get given a mission, and then you've got to go and sort this out, and everybody's talking to you. It's not like this fucking Destiny bullshit where
I don't have time to explain. That's that was. Like, I swear that was like 90% of his dialogue. It's like, oh, we're in trouble, but I'm not going to tell you why we don't have time. And that was like,
you didn't know what was going on.
Destiny,
and the game was so disjointed.
The tale of I don't have time. That was all it boiled down to. I have to admit,
I checked the PR email, and we've got 2 codes for House of something, one of the expansions, but not the other one, because there's 2 expansions out.
Yeah.
And then when that comes, but I'm sure I can get them out of them. But I would be interested to. I might have a go on that myself and see what's what.
Well, my wife was watching the Achievement Hunter guys. 3 of them do the Prison of Elders in Destiny, which is like a new kind of horde mode. So you go into this prison, and it's got like different gateways, and you go through the different gateways, and you face different opponents from the story and the strike missions.
Oh yeah, they're just coming in.
And then it's like there's a big boss that you've got to fight, and then at the end of it, you get loot, and the loot is like actual loot. Like
it's not shit, because that was another thing. When I played it, loot was just pointless. It was pointless doing strikes or anything.
I think 2 of the I think maybe all 3 got at least 1 exotic out of it.
Oh,
so and they all got legendaries as well.
Yeah, I'm not a loot whore.
So,
but like when I'd go back with like 20 fucking purple engrams to the engram man, and he'd just be like, "Oh, thanks for coming," and he's giving me nothing, and I'm like, and it's all random. Or I had exotics for warlocks and shit, and I was a titan. I was like,
yeah,
shit.
And they're introducing new subclasses as well, which looks really interesting to me. Like, although they've put a fucking bow in. Why is it bows? Why does every game have to have a bow now?
But yeah, on PC running a proper FPS. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of podcast.
Good. So yeah, we will see you. We will. No. I was saying that Destiny, the new expansion looks kind of good. Not good. It's the end of the podcast. No, that's never good. As always, if you want to support, then it's over there, as we said at the start, and it's down there. And if you do, thank you very much. And of course, if you do choose to support us, then you will get a shout out on the next.
And there will be an audio version this week, because Kiri will send it me.
Yeah, there will. I forgot last week. I apologise. Last week? Yeah. So.
Well, no, the week before.
Yeah, week before. So we will see you for the next Pubcast, which will. Are you planning to run the Pubcast whilst I'm away?
Probably, yeah. What I'll do is I say probably, yeah. It'd be the same with Hotfix. If I can get guests on it, then I'll do it. But you know what that situation's like. But at least, well, no, I was going to say I only need 1 guest, but then again, getting 1 guest anyway is a fucking problem. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I can't promise anything.
Hopefully there will be, but if there isn't, it's down to availability of people, and not because we don't like you, because we do like you. So
I don't like you, bastards.
He never said that. Ignore him. We will see you for the next podcast. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye.